welcome back to Dialect for Sports. One can call this the ultimate honor, but Pankaj Advani will clearly be delighted after this congratulatory message by the Prime Minister of India. Pankaj, it says it is a noteworthy event when an Indian wins a world title, and more so when two of them do so at a world championship. I congratulate Pankaj Advani and Rupesh Shah in their winning world titles at the World Billiards Ranking Championship at Leeds. He further adds, it's a memorable feat bringing honor to the country and one that will inspire youngsters in the years to come. Wow. Pankaj, how's the feeling? I can still feel the goosies.
Well, I've met the Prime Minister before,
Right.
and he said something very similar, but he also said that you're a role model to all the youngsters in the country, and I think that for me is very, very, it's very, very touching. It was a very, it was a moment that I would never forget, that a moment that I would cherish all my life, because it's coming from the Prime Minister after all, and when he sends a message like this, it's just
Right, Pankaj.
it adds so much value to the achievement.
Exactly, and brings in so much credibility as well, not just to the individual in you, but also the sport. We talk about youngsters now. Clearly, they look up to you for inspiration, but how do they take the sport as well? It's very important that an individual probably now takes the next step. We see so many youngsters playing pool all over India. But what is it that they need to understand, that today Q Sports is not just about playing pool, but it's also taking up billiards and snooker very seriously. Firstly, they live under the impression that it's an elite sport. Secondly, does it also get monotonous beyond the time?
Well, as far as I look at things, I don't think it's an elite sport. I think people have that conception, which I don't think I agree with. If you're good at a game, and like I was earlier on in my career, I went to the state association, the Karnataka State Billiards Association, got a membership,
Right.
and because of a certain talent in the game, they gave me a membership under the talent category.
Right.
So when
You showed interest,
and I showed
there was a
interest.
conscious effort made by you.
Yeah, absolutely. I showed interest. I went for the coaching camp over there, proved myself that, I have a certain amount of talent. And then they gave me the membership, and I could use their facilities for 8 to 10 hours every day. And then, month after month, day after day, year after year, I started practicing and honing my skills in the game. So when there is passion, when there is interest,
Right.
there is always a way to find out what the best possible solution is, and the fact that you can also get the best facilities in your area.
Right. Pankaj, correct me if I'm wrong, but does it also get monotonous, the sport?
Well, in certain aspects it does, because when you're technically sound and when you're a very technical player and you keep doing the same things over and over again, it does get monotonous. But when you look at the situations that unfold in the game,
Right.
and the number of so many different kinds of shots that you have to play in a match or even in a practice session, the game is limitless.
Right.
It's a 12 by 6 table, 12 feet by 6 feet table, and the number of positions that you can get, it always keeps changing. Yes, you do have designated spots for the colors in snooker, the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, black. In billiards, there's a position called the top of the table where if you constantly play, then it's going to be, a little monotonous. But in a match situation, it just keeps changing, and that's why we practice, so that we can handle all kinds of situations.
Right. Since you spoke about billiards, snooker, there's a great amount of proficiency that you brought, and you've decided to play both the sport at the highest level. Firstly, that's commendable. But your first title was 2003. That was snooker. But after that, it's been only billiards. Now, is there a particular liking towards one form, or it's just that you've excelled a lot in billiards and that now you want to devote a lot of time towards snooker as well?
But the honest answer is that I'm a natural in billiards. And when you're natural in something, when you have natural ability in a particular field, you're always going to do well. Because if in snooker, obviously I've got certain shots and I've got the brain to play snooker, but probably I consider myself more of a natural in billiards, and that's why I've excelled more. But that doesn't mean that I love billiards more than snooker, and that's the reason why I'm actually playing both games at the highest level. So it's great that I'm able to do both games at the professional level, and I'm actually going to England and playing there for half the year, which is a huge sacrifice, because I miss home, I miss family, I miss everything out here. But when it comes to career, when it comes to your passion, I think you can just push yourself and go beyond limits.
Rightly said, Pankaj. We have Karan from Hyderabad on the phone line. Karan, good evening. Good to have you with us. Pankaj Advani with us in the studio. Go ahead, Karan.
Yeah, good evening, Mikhail, and good evening, Pankaj. It's a great pleasure to be speaking to you. And firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on your world title.
Thank you
your
so
age
much.
title, if I'm not wrong. Pankaj, what I would like to ask you is that, what happens is, like when I was growing up, the pool tables, the snooker tables were mostly in clubs or in bars, so it was often frowned upon, and the parents should not encourage you go and play in those places because there are very limited resources where you get to play such games. How do you think that a sport needs promoted in terms of more people can go on and
Right.
look
Karan, very nicely put. Yeah, go ahead.
look more of a career option. Like the parents can be convinced, okay, if my son wants to, go ahead and play this game.
Right, we seem to be having problems connecting with Karan, but we get the gist of what he's trying to convey. You see, most of the time we find it in clubs or in pubs or wherever. Parents don't send that. And how would you change that culture from convincing everyone that, listen, I'm going there to play so that I could go to the next level as well? How do you change that mindset, that concept?
But there's so many sports that are played in social clubs.
Right.
Not only billiards and snooker. And a lot of youngsters start off their careers as sports persons by taking membership in clubs and actually using their facilities, whether it's a swimming pool, whether it's a tennis court, a badminton court, and then obviously they graduate, they go to the state association,
Right.
and then they play in the serious competitive events and take their game to the next level. They get a personal coach, and then they start traveling all over the world. So clubs is definitely a form, a way in which you can start the game. I do agree that there needs to be more facilities which make it more accessible to the public at large, and I think that is really the job of our federation, to be able to get this game out there, as Yasin Merchant also said earlier, to get it out to the masses and actually make it more accessible. But as far as the tournaments are concerned, as far as a career is concerned in this game, I think you have all of us as examples who did that throughout the years and who can surely tell you that this is a viable career option if you put your mind to it and if you are willing to go the distance.
Exactly. The sport is not short of role models. One thing can be rest assured about that fact. But clearly the federations need to do much more to bring this sport closer to the youth and the masses. We head into a short break. On the other side, we speak about the role of the federation. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere.